perhaps in this room or watching around the world, some of you feel he's writing your story. When you think about hope deferred, you have simply got to consider Moses. The greatest leader in world history experienced it for 40 years. Understand, Moses didn't know that God was teaching him valuable life lessons that he would need to fulfill his destiny. He had no idea, not at this point. No, he thought he had forever ruined his destiny. He thought it was over. He thought it was hopeless. He didn't know God wanted to turn his failure into long-range good. He didn't know that God was going to use this time as training for reigning. He didn't know he was learning what he would need later on. He learned the ways of God's people, a people he didn't know because of his birth situation. He learned how they thought. He learned their traditions. He learned their history. And he also learned how to survive in the wilderness. Moses didn't know he was going to need any of that until our famous text today. In the 40th year of his exile, one day on Mount Horeb, Moses came upon a bush that was burning, but it wasn't consumed. And of all things, God speaks to him out of this burning bush, saying, "Take off your shoes, Moses. You're on holy ground." Holy ground. Holy ground, you've got to be kidding me. This. Moses didn't know it yet, but one of the greatest seasons of transformation ever was now beginning. He didn't know it, but a new era that was going to change history was beginning to connect to its moment. In a sense, the fire in the burning bush was burning up 40 years of failure. As a fresh call from God was coming forth, a new beginning was being offered. Moses, go and free my people from Egyptian bondage. And at first, Moses argued with God. Moses, whose soul had been so shattered, said, "God, I can't do it, God. I tried it once and I failed." Then he said, "God, I don't talk good anymore. I used to speak powerfully, but I don't do that anymore. No one's going to listen to me. God, my mind, my emotions, my soul is so disturbed. I don't put sentences together right anymore. My soul distracts from my ability to even communicate. The blocks in my soul have blocked my ability to communicate. I'm not eloquent anymore, God. God, I can't do it. I've forgotten how to do that." It's amazing how soul pain hinders our ability to communicate, and we make no sense. In Moses' mind, he saw no way that he was ever going to make a comeback. But Holy Spirit had been hovering over that waste place called Horeb, just as he had hovered over a waste place called earth in the very beginning. He was hovering over Moses, brooding over him, incubating to birth, and an amazing turnaround, a supernatural turnaround. I don't have time to tell all the story today, but long story short, Moses obeyed God. He did go back. He dared do it. He dared go back. And through God's mighty miracles, he did lead again. He led the people of God out of 430 years of Egyptian bondage. And 2 months after leading them out of Egypt, he led them right back here to Mount Horeb. That's amazing. He led them through the wilderness of Sinai back to Mount Horeb. Only this time it's called the Mountain of God. This time it has transitioned into God Mountain. This time it's holy ground. Horeb, the place of desolation. Horeb was transformed. Horeb, the desolate desert mountain. It became the place where God met Moses face to face, and they would talk together as friends. Horeb became the place where God would take 2 granite tablets and with his own finger write 10 commandments. On Horeb, thunder rolled and lightning flashed as God's tangible presence came down upon that mountain. Smoke rose and the whole mountain shook as the greater presence and glory of God was revealed. And as Moses would climb up that mountain again through the smoke and through the fire emanating from God's glory that hovered over Mount Horeb, he would meet again and again with the King of Glory. He began to meet again and again with the King of the mountain. And he was given laws of cultural conduct that are still viable today. He was given governmental laws and societal laws. He was given promises of increased blessings. God would be their God, and they would be his people. It was while camping around Mount Horeb with these former Egyptian slaves. It was while there that he would write a few more books. Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, portions of the Psalm. They were all written there at Mount Horeb. It was at Mount Horeb that acacia wood, desert wood would be gathered to build the Ark of the Covenant. Desert wood was gathered to build the altar of God. They would gather some more desert wood and build the tabernacle of worship. Bezalel and Aholiab built them with desert wood. It was at Mount Horeb that Moses took a shepherd's staff that had been upgraded to a rod of authority. And he stretched it at those granite walls at God's command. And a river gushed out of it to provide water for 1 million people and all of their livestock. Who knew? Who knew there was a river under that mountain? There was a river under that mountain only God knew was there. I wonder what's under your mountain. You have no idea. I wonder what's under your mountain that only God knows is there.